Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Class, you are in, you and I are in for a treat. This next hour will be with Joey from Michigan. And if you want to know what it's like when I'm off the air and I'm on the phone with one of our instructors, you're going to get a chance to see what it's like. And I just love chatting with Joey because it's a treat for me. He's so bright. He's so innovative. He is way outside the box in so many things. He knows so much about so much. And during the next hour, we're going to share with you some thoughts about electricity, tractors. Where are tractors made? Where do they come from? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. Welcome, Joey from Michigan.
Good morning, Vince. Thanks for such a modest introduction on me.
Well, I was thinking about, tractors years ago. I was thinking about, clearing some land. And, when Joey listens to the broadcast, in class he is an instructor, when he listens to the broadcast, he'll call me and he'll say, I heard you say such and such about a tractor or a piece of equipment or hoses or hydraulics or belts or rubber parts or oils. He'll call me and he'll give me his thoughts on it. And they're always brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'm very fortunate to have Joey as a close friend, and I just love it when he's on the air with us. So, Joey, in America, a typical morning in America is, the alarm goes off, and we reach over and hit the snooze button, get another 10 minutes, and then we'll wake up and, got to go to work, and bedroom light goes on, and the bathroom light goes on, the electric toothbrush gets powered up, we hop in the shower, grab the hair dryer, then we go down to the kitchen or over to the kitchen, turn on the kitchen light, open the refrigerator, grab a bottle of milk, put some bread in the toaster, open that instant cereal, put it in the microwave oven, put a pot of coffee on the stove, take a plate out of the dishwasher, and, put the toast on it and butter it up, and touch up that shirt that we just got out of the dryer, clothes dryer, so we can get ready to go to work. I mean, that's just for starters, right? And everything I just mentioned is powered by electricity, everything. So now the question is, what happens if we don't have electricity? Boy, what are your thoughts on that, Joey?
Well, this conversation occurred because last week somebody in my area hit the light pole and turned the power off. And I came home to eat dinner and I had no power. And, how long was I not going to have power? An hour? 4 hours? But that was when reality hit home. It's like, what if that was a solar flare? What if anything? What if I didn't have power for 2 weeks? And I have a generator. But having a generator and having fuel to run a generator for a week or two is one thing. What happens when you wake up and you don't have power for a month or 3 months, as Matt or Rick would be talking about with a solar flare and EMP? How different does your world evolve? How do you even start to function and imagine a day in a life that we take for granted? Running water, flush a toilet, make a pot of coffee. Open a refrigerator and get a surprise when you're putting your groceries in and the light's not on. And you're like, now what? The bulb burned out? And you look at the stove. Oh, the clock's up. Oh, we have no power. You want to cook dinner. You have a well. So you want a glass of water. Go get one out of the sink. Go see, just think in your mind, just as simple as you could make it, how a day would be without electricity. And not just one day, because everybody's had 1 or 2 days. Think about a week or a month without power, how different your world will be. You know, something nobody ever thinks about, everybody had in the early part of the country, an outhouse. How important would an outhouse be if you couldn't use your toilet in your house? Because you're not going to look like a poodle out in your yard leaving little puddles and piles, right? Think about that stuff. That's what the class really needs to think about. That's the message for today. And electricity is just one part of it. Go back to without electricity, you have no fuel. Without no fuel, you have no transportation train. Without no transportation chain, you're limited on the amount of food you're going to have. You know, and like Rick mentioned a few weeks ago, if you have wild turkeys, do you kill them all and eat them, or do you put them in a fence and try to raise them and keep growing a turkey? Well, then, if you have them in a fence, what do you feed that turkey? Because here's a funny thing about a turkey. He wants to eat too. So how do you answer that question, Ben?
Joey, as you say this, it really strikes a note in reality. It really does, because back in the 1950s here in Missouri, there was a drought, and the cows didn't have grass, and so the hunters, you know, the farmers couldn't keep their cows, so they sold them off, and the ones they did keep, they literally cut trees down. They cut trees down so the cows would eat the leaves. That's how desperate the farmers were. And as far as deer and squirrels, they were shot within days. Deer were almost extinct here in this part of Missouri during that drought in the 1950s. I'm not kidding. And we all know about the first day of hunting season. Everyone goes out that hunts on that day because there's slimmer pickings every day after that day. So you're absolutely right. How many people have outhouses? How many people have a 5-gallon bucket, Joey, to take the place of a temporary, or be the temporary outhouse? How many people have a 5-gallon bucket? And then what do you do with the contents of the bucket? Yep.
It's a whole new learning curve, Vince. And, you know, as you and I were briefly talking about this earlier, how simple, just say you were in a subdivision neighborhood, 14 homes, 14 neighbors, and actually there were 14 generators. But you didn't know how much power you had. Would you run all 14 generators? Because that's really what we as an American, I don't even know how to properly say that, but we'll just leave it at that. It's all about us. It's not about all of us, all about us. Everybody's an individualist here. Nobody, when Miles talks about their little village and everybody pulls together, that's a different mind game that they're used to, having been through 2 world wars and having to restart. You know, we're a fat, lazy society. We produce 2 things, death and sickness. That is what we specialize in. The leeching parasites that have drowned this country and ruined it, they've basically castrated us as a industrial nation. They've removed the testicles of this beast that we call the country. They've outsourced everything. You know, like you brought up about tractors. Where is a tractor made today? I don't think they make a tractor in this country. Everything's made abroad. All the major companies go abroad because of the labor. But if you take this deeper, how is it possible that in 20 years you take a third world country like China, create a world superpower? They don't have an EPA. They don't have any environmental programs. They don't have anything. Our EPA can flood the Colorado River, poison everything. No problem. They can have issues wherever they go. They can have leaky power plants. Don't worry about it. We're going to raise the radiation level a little more because we can do that. We tweak it. It'll be okay. Now they've banned crab fishing off the west coast of California because of a bacteria? Or is it really because of radiation coming from Fukushima? When does everybody wake up? When is the dream over, and when do you walk into reality? That's something everybody should be thinking. And if there's any one thing they take from this show today, is to start thinking outside of the box and start thinking about how you're going to use your intuition. Because the close friends from our inner circle, everybody thinks with their intuition. Rick's book about the intuition, yeah, it's great if you're a Navy SEAL, but just to be alive in an up-and-coming future, even when you're at a stoplight, you go through it because it's yellow, or can you make it? Your intuition says go or stop every time. Next time you want to test your intuition, be on the expressway and think, should I get off on this exit or not? If your little voice says get off and you don't, it's usually a 30-minute detour by the time you make the next turnaround, come back. So start looking inside yourself for some of your answers and start formulating something that's a God-given right is your intuition. It was given to you as an extra precaution, to teach you. But with all the cell phones, with all the games, with all the kids playing ridiculous games, and the IQ coming down hour after hour, day after day with the toxic food, let's think about this. Let this ferment. Most of the people listening to this today will go, wow, he's a nutcase. Get him a tinfoil hat. But in a week or two, you'll start to notice little bits and pieces, and you'll start to question them. You'll start to look at something a little bit different. You'll have to wonder why we have a man that goes to Cuba to talk to two really wonderful people, Raul and Fidel. Such good guys. He got a Nobel Peace Prize. Probably Fidel and Raul should get Nobel Peace Prize, for encouraging people to flee a country on an inner tube in a raft and go 90 miles in shark-infested water. They'd rather take their chances dying than live in such a beautiful country as Cuba. Isn't that fascinating? And then you have the Pope. He goes there and he's rubbing himself. Oh, you guys are wonderful. How is this working? What world are we living in that it's all distorted?
Class, this is what, if you were eavesdropping on a phone call with Joey from Michigan and me, this is what it'd be like. When we come back, we're going to continue the discussion about what would life be like without electricity. We want to make sure you understand that you need to get ready. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hey everyone, with 20 plus years as a radio host, I've seen about everything. One thing that keeps recurring though are these timeshare charlatans. These high pressure salespeople who get folks to come out to some resort for a special weekend offer. Then they get them in a corner and browbeat them and coerce them into buying a timeshare they don't need, they don't want, and they can't afford. And then they're stuck with that thing forever. Monthly payments, mortgage payments, annual fees that keep going up and up. Well, up until recently, people thought they couldn't get rid of these things. You can't get out of the contract, you can't get out of the deed or the membership. Well, that's not true. My friends at American Consumer Credit, a timeshare release company, can get you free. That's their personal guarantee. 12 years in business, free consultation, A-plus rating with the BBB, they're the real deal. You want to get out of your timeshare contract? Call them now. 800-587-EXIT, That's 800-587-3948. 800-587-EXIT. Call now, 800-587-3948.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Joey from Michigan's with us. And so, Joey, you mentioned that there's this neighborhood, this hypothetical neighborhood, with 14 houses, 14 families, and everyone has a generator, and the electricity goes out, whether it be from a storm or a solar flare. And let's say we don't know. We don't know if the power is going to be back in a minute, in an hour, a day, a week, a month, or years, okay? But if you think about it, the typical family probably has a 5-gallon gas can. It can either be full or empty or somewhere in between. And so that's for the lawnmower, right? And well, it's also great for the generator. But so 5 gallons, let's say every 5-gallon can in everyone's garage in this neighborhood that we're imagining is full. That's 70 gallons. So if everybody fires up his generator, as we probably would do in America, because we wouldn't talk with our neighbors and see if there was a better plan, we just do our own thing. That's 5 hours of generating power. That's it, and we're done. 5 hours. We'd run out of gasoline. Or there could be a better plan, which is let's talk with the neighbors, and maybe we could use that 70 gallons of fuel to a better way. Maybe one generator, maybe the most efficient generator. We could figure out which one that is and use that one to run the well pump and make sure everyone has water. But we don't think like that, Joey.
Well, it's even worse than that, Vince, because I always think outside of the box, and I was thinking about the 5-gallon bucket, not necessarily to use as a potty chair, but as a container to carry water. Let's just assume we decide to pool 14 homes, 14 generators. So because those generators have a life expectancy of what? 40 days, 30 days, if they're running 8-hour days?
30 days.
Okay, so let's just assume we take it to the worst case scenario. 14 people, 14 generators, 14 times 30, great. Now all of a sudden we've got a year and change in a power source to get water. That's assuming we could figure out where to get the rest of the gasoline. But let's say we've got one generator running, one pump running, but now we don't have a way to carry water from house to house where you could carry it, store it in your bathtub. Why would you ever think that way? I mean, this is the golden calf. This is the land of opportunity. Nothing bad happens here. Even when Katrina happens and all those people are in a stadium and they're, doing their business in a bathroom on the floor and all over, and when you look at it, they need to send a hazmat crew in to clean that disaster zone up from all the waste. And the way our wonderful public officials, they're like a severe rectal rash in charge of a virus. These people, they didn't care that those people were treated inhumanely, and they just blew it off. And then the pathetic media just ignores it. Can you imagine if that's an everyday scenario? Could you imagine if that was the next year? And let's just say it was in the next year, and you only had to deal with that for a year. What if it prolongs? What if, as Matt would say, those transformers, when they go out, they take a 2-year waiting list, a year to get one now, and they're only made in China and India because, again, all the human vomit in this country, oh, yeah, we can't make that here. It's very, very bad. It's not for our benefit. What is for our benefit? To castrate the greatest cow in the world, the bull, and turn it into a steer, and a steer that they're feeding hormones and steroids, so it's not even edible meat? And that's as Rick would call it, a metaphor of our country. It's useless. And then when Clinton gave and passed the law that all national parks are going to be used as collateral to whoever loaned us money. So who is probably the largest lender to us abroad, and now they're going to get all our natural parks and all the natural resources, lumber, oil, whatever's there, gold, silver. Who would that be? Oh, I forget. Oh, you want Asagi rice? I make a very special yellow tea. Very good. You enjoy. Would that be China? Yeah, that could be China. What are we talking about? How does this, who lets this happen? And everybody's fighting, whether they're voting for Trump or for Bernie or for Hillary, the wonderful, whatever. All these people. How does this happen? Everybody's distracted with the sideshow. They're watching the plate spin on a stick at the circus. And the seals are playing the horns over here. Here, have a fish. You did a good job. When does everybody wake up? I'm afraid when they wake up, the fat lady already sang, and the show's over, and they're like rubbing their head in disbelief. How did this happen? And we're
right
all
back.
to blame.
Well, don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a ProPure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure water filtration products. There's a ProPure system for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using the computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
Class, Joey from Michigan's with us and this hour. And we're talking about what life would be like without electricity. And we're talking about society spiraling out of control. And Joey, let me just share with you one thought. I was at the county courthouse many years ago, talking with some of the commissioners, and they were complaining that the police had this hidden fuel tank in the woods. So the police cars would drive down this nondescript driveway into the woods where there was this gasoline storage tank that they would fill their police cars from. And they thought it was a big secret and no one knew about it except for the police. And what they found was as gasoline kept increasing in price, to around $3+ a gallon, people were stealing the gas from this particular tank. And it was locked. The caps were welded. I mean, it was very securely sealed so that you couldn't easily, take gas from it. What the thieves did was they just bypassed all that. They took a cordless drill and they drilled through the side of the tank. And this tank just released the gasoline into containers, and then the thieves would just leave. Now, they didn't seal up the leak. They just took the fuel, and then after they left, the fuel continued to pour out on the ground. That is individual greed at its finest, right?
That's what we breed into American people today. That's what our media has changed everybody. The day of Andy Griffith's show and Fonzie and Happy Days, that country, that thought pattern doesn't exist anymore. They have converted everyone into being a freeloading parasite. You know, the bottom line is, it's not even about preparing with goods as much as it's preparing with knowledge. Goods, they come and go. People with a larger group, they come, they take your stuff. And most of the people that will be taking your stuff will be the ones that have been running the show the whole time. I think you refer to them as the blue plague. The bottom line is, the only way they can take your knowledge is if they kill you. And with knowledge, it's like that little, what do you call it, that little story about you give a man a fish, he eats for the day. You teach him how to fish, he eats forever. Well, the most important thing is to have knowledge of different survival scenarios, whether it's catching a fish, boiling water. You know, hopefully that page we've been kind of working on for some alternative energy and tinctures and salves, where it'll be like a bit of a forum where you can look, call, write, whatever it's going to be. It's just about in the, it's past the incubation stage. It's about in the sprouting stage. Going to be looking forward to callers and listeners and class to give us input. You know, who built a windmill? Did you build a vertical one or a helical one? Who has been learning and experimenting with building an iron Edison battery? Who is good at distilling alcohol, whether it's to run your car, whether it's moonshine, or whether it's to make tinctures, which are going to be so important as the system slowly breaks down? You know, how do you make a tincture? When do you pick the product? Whether, I mean, do you pick the leaf when it's dry? Do you pick it when it's green? I mean, you pick it when it's green if you're going to distill it and make an oil. But when do you pick it? And do you pick it in the morning? Or do you pick it at night? Because there's so many variables. And, you know, in this moment in time when we have so much access to so much knowledge on the internet, and everybody's busy. Oh, I got to watch a football game. Oh, I got to watch a baseball game. Oh, we're going to Little Johnny soccer game. Oh, we got to go see, yeah, well, oh, this is going to be wonderful. Oh, we're going to pizza tonight. Keep going. Keep running with the ball. Enjoy it. Live for the moment. Because it's going to be a lot harder to get a little bit of knowledge later. Most people, when you go to these secondhand stores, the books that people are throwing away because it's so inconvenient. Oh, it's got clutter. Oh, you can't store a book. Where are you going to get the book later when UPS or FedEx or PayPal or Amazon is really not too functional? How's that going to work? The power grid goes down. Even if you had all this stuff stored on a portable hard drive and you had access to, 40,000 pages of very critical information, what miracles is it going to take to process that information when the system doesn't work to open the computer? How's any of this going to work? How do you think about that, Vince?
Joey, I can tell you with absolute certainty that motherboards, even though the processors in computers may last a long time, the motherboards have capacitors on them that don't last a long time. So if you think that a motherboard, or the main board as they might be called now, on a computer might last forever, that's not the case. We might be getting 12 years out of a motherboard before the capacitors start exploding, literally, on these motherboards. It's just a little pop. It's not really a safety issue unless you're looking really close with your naked eye when one of these explodes. But these capacitors do not last forever. Some of the solid-state components will last a lot longer, but the capacitors don't. So Joey's right. If you're thinking that you're going to have it on your computer or the internet's always going to be working, I think you might be in for a surprise. How many people put their pictures on floppy disks? And how would you read a floppy disk today? They don't work. They know floppy disks are, if you have a floppy disk that you can read, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing, because none of mine are readable. And if you put them on DVDs or compact discs and you think that you're going to be able to read those, well, the devices that read them have capacitors in them. So if you think that that you can hand those down for generations to family members to see what your ancestors look like. You're probably not going to be able to read those media. That's just the way it is. So we think we're lulled into believing that things last a lot longer than they do. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about, Joey. Is we were talking about tractors, and I have an old 1974 Ford tractor. It's a Ford 3000. They were made in 3 countries. They were built in Belgium, England, and the United States. We think that, if a tractor, we probably think the tractors are made here. And this is in 1974, this model was available and manufactured in 3 different countries. In 1990, I was talking to the owner of a equipment company, a farm equipment company. It sold tractors and implements and so forth and supplies. And he told me that there is no tractor under 40 horsepower that was manufactured in the United States in 1990. That's 26 years ago. Now, I believe that there's no tractor manufactured here completely. Not one tractor is completely manufactured here right now. What do you think? You think that's true?
I would go along 100% with that. I will also urge any and everybody listening to go to Alibaba.com, type in farm equipment, look at how many companies will pop up, whether they be, there's lesser amounts in India than there are in China. But then look at how many products. I mean, there's a couple of companies making over 400 farming devices, whether they be tractors, pickers, harvesters, tillage, disc, harrows, rotavators, any kind of a tool you could imagine for farm use. And then you come to the great castrated beast of this country and see what you can find. Only thing you're going to find here outside of a real unique item manufactured and made here, everything else is we're a wholesaler. I mean, we buy and resell. I mean, we can't produce anything. I mean, for some reason, China's the only one that knows how to cast iron anymore. All the foundries have been closed. All the steel mills have been closed. And it's really a great thing. I mean, when our military buys ammunition from China, and we're going to have an argument, do you really think we're going to have a fight with China if they're selling us bullets? We'll have to fight somebody. All they have to do is send the bullets out with no powder in them or bad primers. Or better yet, just let's not send them out. When they closed that lead foundry, the largest one left was where? In Sedalia, 2 hours from you?
Right near John Moore. It was Doe Run. It's called Doe Run.
Oh, now nobody in this country smelters lead. So even if you wanted to build a bullet, I think Lake City is the only one that has a small, and that's only because most of Lake City's goes to a small amount to the military. But why would you shut a bullet factory down, or why would you sell or shut a main component to your vitality of a nation? Why would you close that? And a guy looks you in the face and goes, "Oh, we did this for your health." Which health is that? Which health is that?
Joey, if you've noticed, the price of lead acid batteries has skyrocketed since the Doe Run was closed. You used to be able to get a battery for a light truck battery for maybe $90, $85 for a pretty one that had Now we're looking at 125 plus, right?
Yeah, $135.
Yeah.
And that's just in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget that new battery that you buy that used to last 7 years. You're going to play. It'd be like a miracle to get it to last 48 months, 42 months.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
All this built-in obsolescence. So even if you have a vehicle, you think you have fuel, you have everything you think you want for that rainy day. Just as you and I have talked hundreds of times about tires. You used to buy a tractor, you got a 30-year-old tractor, and the OEM tire is still good. When the tire is replaced, you buy a great new tire that really a set of tires They basically cost $1,500 to $1,800 plus the labor to put them on, plus the tube.
You're looking at close to, if you want to put a set of rear tires on a tractor, you're looking at easily $2,000. Put a set of tires on the rear of a tractor, or more. If you want the good ones, probably $3,000. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together. For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Joey, we're talking about the impression that we had that there are products that are made in the United States like tractors, farm tractors, and that's not the case. Would you share with our class some of the things that you've learned by talking to people who are in the business and where this old tooling goes that was from tractors and what really happens?
Yeah, a lot of the old tooling goes to these countries that are going to take, whether it's a Kubota that becomes a Coyote tractor or an International tractor becomes a McKendra tractor. I mean, apparently we don't need 1980 technology here. We need new and improved. But China, they could take our product, our old product, build it new, change the hood on it, and say, here you go. You have a new tractor. There's the whole problem. And the one thing you notice when you go to a farm dealer today, it's like a 15-acre site, and the smallest tractor there is usually 150 horse. And like the guy says, we don't really sell parts. We sell new tractors. You know, and the day of the mom and pop having the 50, 100-horse tractor is slowly being run out. It's evolving into a rust bucket. They tend to scrap. The Deutsch tractor is one of the best tractors. The guy buys the tractors. His father started a Deutsch dealership back in the early 70s. He gets all them tractors, he guts them out for the motor, and then they put water pumps in gensets and send them all over the world because they still have a hard time building a better motor. You know, we were talking about tires. Take those new tires that are $2,000 to $3,000 for a new set of tires for that tractor that is worth about $3,000. Now you need $3,000, $2,000 worth of tires, and they're not going to last 30 years either. They're going to last 5 or 7 years because they're afraid to put real rubber in it. They use recycled rubber, as I'm told. So that falls apart. But the most important thing, if anybody today learns, as far as I'm concerned, is if you don't start sharing, you might not like your neighbor, you may not care about your neighbor, but if you learn to respect them for what they are, I mean, in some, you have to be honest, you can't fix stupid. We all know that. But there's a lot of good people that, you know, you're never going to make this on your own. Always when you talk to somebody, as today, some 2 or 3 people may get an idea from today's show that will connect the dot, and that dot will, when they speak that dot to their friends will get a thought, that thought will move, and all of a sudden those thoughts start to spread like wildfire. And if it happens today and there's 5 or 6 people and tomorrow those 5 or 6 mention something, pretty soon at the end of the week, you've created one of those little pyramid marketing schemes, only it's done now with thoughts. And it's giving you a whole different perspective. I mean, who would imagine that you would buy new tires today and they would last 5 or 7 years on a tractor when you bought a tractor and their 30-year-old tractor will still have the original tire on it? And only because it either wore off and or you drove over a piece of I-beam that you didn't see and it blew a hole in it. That's the only reason you bought new tires. Yet the new tire, I've got a little Mercedes car, Michelin, 100,000-mile tires. They don't have 20,000 miles on them. They're 6-year-old tires, and they're all spider checked on the sidewalk. This is a Michelin tire. That tire should have lasted the life of that car. I don't get it. And it's every single thing we touch or do today. It's made with built-in obsolescence. Even the food you're eating. You know, how it used to last and how it will last are 2 different things. I bought a head of cabbage at Aldi's the other day. It's wrapped in cellophane. I bought actually 3 heads to make sauerkraut. The one head, it started to turn white, then it turned black, and obviously it had a bacteria in it that caused it to rot, where the other heads look brand new. How do you What's that story you were talking about? Somebody had freeze-dried food that turned out to be bad.
Yeah. Joey, I have an old tractor that I inherited from my parents. It's 52 years old. Still has the original tires. 52 years old, literally. So, and you look at the new, and it's a Cub Cadet, International Cub Cadet. You look at the new International Cub, the new Cub Cadets, those tires don't last 3 years. Joey, thanks so much for being with us.
Vince,
I appreciate all the information that you share with us.
I hope we didn't upset nobody's apple tart today.
I'm sure we taught a lot of people what's really happening. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number two today. And it's a special hour. I'm delighted to be broadcasting with Erin Dakins, a host of a broadcast on Genesis Communications Network, The Truth Traveler. She broadcasts from 10 Central Time at night to midnight. The Truth Traveler. Welcome, Erin Dakins.
Good morning, Vincent. It's winter.
It is winter. Erin, you and I have been broadcasting on another network, just one broadcast per week when our schedules align. And that broadcast we called The Bunker Files. And that name was developed with the assistance of one of our instructors, Dr. John Waterman, and he thought that we ought to call it The Bunker Files. And so there it is. So we would talk about things that were of interest to you and me. But what happened? What happened to The Bunker Files on another network? And I'm not saying anything negative about a network. Nothing happened that made us do this other than us, right?
We just had to go to the bunker. I don't know. It seemed like it didn't matter what Friday of the month it was when we were scheduled to do our show. Something would always come up.
Mm-hmm. For one
Inevitably,
of us.
For one of us, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it just got to the point where I felt bad, and I know you did too, that we'd have to say, hey, we need to go to rebroadcast. And Vincent and I talked long and hard about this and decided that we just need to have the Bunker Files on USA Prepares once a month and on the Truth Traveler once a month. And we get the best of both worlds. We still get to broadcast together, which we love doing. We still get to have the episode of the Bunker Files, but it seems like this schedule's a little bit easier, at least for me, Vincent.
Well, what would happen with me is, I'd call you and I'd say, Erin, the cows got out. The cows got out. We've got 100 cows that are looking at greener grass, and it's a real problem. I can't do it. Or you would have an emergency over there at your farm, and as farmers, it was really, really difficult for both of us to.
The middle of the afternoon is tough.
The middle of the afternoon is something I cannot do. That was the problem, and not only that, I had the same. And it's not like this is just with the broadcast. On Mondays, I used to do a meetup, and I would have to leave around the same time to go to Springfield from the farm. I couldn't do that either. So it was an issue of time and being away from the farm and being away from protecting the animals and so forth. It was very, very difficult. So what we've decided to do, as Erin said, is we're going to still do the bunker files, but we're going to do it at 10 o'clock at night Central Time once a month, and we're going to do it at 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time once a month. And it looks like Friday's the day for the bunker files so far. And, it'll be posted on the websites, Erin's website and mine, The Truth Traveler and USA Prepares. So, Erin, today's topic is about revenue. Specifically about what happens to people who are grabbed by the police, the blue plague, and handcuffed, tested for driving under the influence. Some people are under the influence. Some people are not under the influence. Some people have hypoglycemia. Some people have diabetes. The ketones in their body manifest themselves as a smell of either nail polish, which is kind of similar to alcohol. And these people are treated as if they are absolutely drunk and need to be dealt with very harshly by the system, which I think is wrong as well.
It is wrong, but they appear to be inebriated or intoxicated. Therein lies the problem. This goes back to discernment, Vincent. I'm a former EMT too, so we would deal with these issues a lot. And we, in fact, just ran into this back a year ago, February, where we followed a van down the highway, and then he just stopped in the middle of a 4-lane highway. And he got out of the van and was walking around it. We thought, well, maybe there's something wrong. And then he got back in and drove off. And then he did it again at a stoplight. And at this point, and he was driving kind of erratically. We thought there's something wrong with him. So he actually pulled into a gas station. We followed him, and we actually got out and talked to him, and you could tell there was something really wrong. So we blocked his car, or blocked his van in so that he couldn't get out. But he even almost tried to run over my son. So not being mean. I mean, he was an older gentleman, probably 70. We did call the police, but I also told him, look, don't send a bunch of squad cars. The guy's not drunk. I think he has a blood sugar problem. You need to send a bus. And they did. They actually listened to me. And they sent a bus, and sure enough, his blood sugar was like nothing. And his wife didn't even know he had left their home. I mean, she knew he left. She didn't know where he went. And he was a good 20 miles from home when we found him. So we actually drove his van with him in at home for him. But he appeared intoxicated, Vincent. It goes back to discernment, and the officers are not taught that, I don't think.
So, Erin, you're saying that you, as a member of the village, help someone without having him be arrested.
Correct.
And then sent to court and have him blow in a breathalyzer, possibly, if his ketones were elevated, test positively very, very high, maybe 2 or 3 times what the legal limit might be, and then be found guilty in court because his attorney said, you know what, look, the judge is going to be easier on you if you plead guilty. And even if you're not guilty, you ought to plead guilty. Now it's really easy for the for the attorney collects his $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's easy for the court because this person pleads guilty. Obviously, the person's guilty because he pled guilty, only because it was easier. And then he ends up going to mandatory classes for 8 weeks.
Can I throw a monkey wrench in that?
Sure.
I'm going to assume, and people can email me or you or call in or whatever, but I'm going to assume just like any other time you go through the court system, that every time there's something that's going on with you in the court system and you are charged under their codes, rules, and regulations, that they're also tapping into what's called the SESTA-QV accounts. So that's double tapping, double dipping. It's a lot of money. The judge is in on it. The county, the clerk of the county's in on it. So this behooves them to arrest you for being inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Whether
what you're
you are
paying
or
on
not.
the outside, that's right, what you're paying up front for court costs and counseling and all that stuff, double or triple it in the money that they're getting as kickbacks through your SESTA-QV accounts.
And just the stigma attached to being arrested is something that lives with you for a very, very long time. Let me give you an example. So you're applying for a job. One of the questions on the application, have you ever been arrested? If you lie in the application, you're doomed. If they find out later, they'll fire you. So do you say, yeah, but you know, I have a sugar problem, and this cop arrested me, threw me in the back of a police car, I ended up in court, I spent some time in the clink, but I didn't do it. Now, who's going to believe that, right? Who's going to believe that the person was wrongfully arrested, wrongfully charged, wrongfully accused, wrongfully convicted, had to go to counseling, which they pay for? Who's going to believe that? So now we have a whole class of people who are flipping burgers at these fast food joints because they can't get any other kind of job, because they're not trustworthy. How could they be trustworthy since they've been arrested?
That's right.
Isn't that what people are thinking?
Well, you know, jobs are hard to find. You've got PhDs working as, you know, waiters or waitresses. So,
yes.
Yeah, it makes it even worse when you have this.
I know,
and what about the guy that literally took, I've heard this too many times, they literally went out to dinner, and he had a glass or two of wine with dinner, and then he got popped, and he got arrested for DUI. Now, Vincent, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my parents would go out to dinner, and my dad and mom would have a glass or two of wine. My parents were not drunk. They were not inebriated in any way, shape, or form, but they probably would have blown hot if they had the breathalyzers right now.
Now, what era are you talking about? How many years ago?
Really? You want me to? No, I'm just kidding. Gosh, they did that probably, you know, like 40 years ago.
Okay, that's a whole different world, right? Because
it was.
I remember the era of we'll call them cocktail parties, where someone in the neighborhood would invite the neighbors over, you know, friends from work, friends from up and down the street and 2 streets over, people who were like them, people who had common interests, and they'd get together and they'd have a wonderful time. And would there be wine? Sure. Would there be punch? Sure. Would there be beer? Sure. Absolutely. And everybody'd go home and everything was fine. Husbands and wives would come together. It was like the parents would get together, you know, maybe once a month on a non-regular basis, but friends. And it was the best time of the United States of America.
Yes.
And since then, we've destroyed it, right?
Yes.
Who wants to? I don't want to have anything when I go out. Would I have a beer if I went out? Absolutely not. I won't do it because I don't want to run the risk of the blue plague pulling up behind me and saying, "Did you have something to drink?" You know, meaning alcohol. And if I had a beer 3 hours ago, I wouldn't want to say, "Well, yeah, I had a beer 3 hours ago," because they'd still breathalyze test.
They would.
Right. And they probably, and I don't trust them. I don't trust them not to plant evidence. I don't trust these thugs to not plant evidence on these urine tests. I've told people that have these urine tests, if they hand you a cup and it's sealed, say, "No, I don't want that one. I want a different one. I want a different." Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Today. And she's the host of The Truth Traveler right here on Genesis Communications Network from 10 to midnight Central Time. And this is our first broadcast together on GCN with the Bunker Files. So we're going to do this once a month. This is episode number 1. USA Prepares Bunker Files, episode number 1. Now, Erin, we should have another episode pretty soon. What do you think?
Well, we're having one tonight. Does that count as one episode 1, or would that be 2? Because the Bunker Files was 2 hours, so I guess
okay. So this is
all day.
1A.
Yeah. Okay.
1A. 1B is tonight. Okay. So with Erin Dakins, I'll be joining her tonight at 10 o'clock Central Time, right here on Genesis Communications Network. So The Truth Traveler, it will be the Bunker Files episode 1B. because we'd broadcasted 2 hours of bunker files. So it'll be Fridays as far as we know right now. So, Erin, I was thinking, our son decided that after being homeschooled, you met our son, both of them, and one of them decided he wanted to experience high school. He'd been homeschooled all his life, and he wanted to try high school here in Missouri, and he did. And all of a sudden, Mrs. Finelli and I were asked to be on the drug testing committee, and we were against drug testing. We were for drug education. We were against drug testing because we wanted to know things like, okay, so what about false positives? What about inhalers? What about, what happens to a student who tests positively but falsely?
What about somebody that had poppy seed dressing?
That's what I'm talking about. And that person will be branded for life as a druggie by those teachers. Okay? No question about it. Do you hear about so-and-so? Wow, positive test for drugs. Boy, the mother and father, they must be drug addicts too. So that's the kind of stigma that can be attached to a person. So we were against drug testing, but we were for drug education and alcohol education. I saw a video when I was in high school called Scared Straight. It certainly worked for me. It was about prisoners who said, don't do what I did. Look at the mess I'm in. And it really fixed it for me. Well, here's what happened. They would have these drug testing committee meetings, and they'd forget to invite us. Or they would send the invitation to the wrong town, so we wouldn't get them. So we missed all the meetings. And I was so outraged, I decided to run for a school board office. And I put an ad in the paper, and I said, fire the entire Hartville school board. One director at a time. Consider voting for Vincent Finelli, the only candidate who won't make your child urinate in a cup. I was absolutely frosted. And here's some of the thoughts I had. Okay, I said to him, oh, by the way, my son is under 18, and you want to have random drug testing, and you decide you're going to do this? All right, you're going to have to call me first. You will not drug test my son without me being there, because you will not have a false positive or a mishandling or planting of evidence. You will not do that. He is a minor, and you will not drug test him without me or Mrs. Finelli being there. And they said, do you realize what a problem this is? And you will do this for every other student as well. And they said, are you kidding? We can't do that. That alerts the students when they're going to be drug tested. And I said, that's right. What a problem. And I said, and what about the evidence? So you got all these cups of DNA. Now what are you going to do with them? Well, if we have a positive, we send it off to the lab. What lab? Well, we don't know. You're going to send off DNA of children, and you don't even know where you're sending it? No, you're not. And I fought this as best I could. But, there are a lot of stupid teachers out there, and there are a lot of stupid principals and superintendents who are chomping at the bit for federal grants. And I believe the money comes from the feds.
Yes, it does.
It's an outrage. It's an absolute outrage. So what do, Erin? We run for school board office and we fire the principals and the superintendents, right? That's what we do. That's our job. Our job is to protect our children. And our job is to make sure that we educate our children. And we throw out Common Core, and we throw out the Department of Education, and we throw out the lunch program, and we start cooking good meals, and we take care of our children. Like the two ladies who had leftovers from serving lunch in elementary school, and they decided to take it home rather than throw it out. You know what happened to them? They got fired. They got fired for stealing food. The federal government says you will throw out this food that's unused. You will throw it out.
I think that's crazy. Anyway.
By the way, that if you want to know what the bunker files is, would you say sometimes we rant?
I would say it's an opinion piece, an op-ed. Because I think throwing the food away is crazy when there's hungry.
Hey, Erin, when we come back, would you bring us back?
I sure can.
Okay, Erin Dakins. We'll be right back.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
You've seen crazy diets to lose weight. At GCN Team, our healthy body weight loss system simply neutralizes the body, bringing down cravings. It has been proven that nutritional deficiencies drive appetite for carbs, sugars, and fats. Lose weight the easy way. Find us at gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Fighting cravings is a fool's game. Give the body what it needs to be satisfied. Again, 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Welcome back to the USA Prepares edition of Bunker Files 1A. I'm Erin Dakins, and we are with Vincent Finelli. And it's the Bunker Files, and we're complaining about DUI. It's gotten to be such big business now. That's the thing. It's revenue generation at its finest. Maybe we
Erin,
don't have pizza. There you are.
No, I'm here. Erin, our son, when he was in high school, was selected along with another highly graded student. I mean, our son got really good grades, and so did another girl. And those two were selected for random drug testing, way more than everyone else, maybe 4 or 5 times more. And so I went to the school board and I said, what's up with this drug testing? And they said, well, it's random. And I said, are you kidding me? Our son has been tested so many times, and so is this other girl, and you're telling me this is random? They said, well, that proves it's random. They get they get selected more times than anybody else. That proves it's random. And I said to this school board member, have you ever had a class in statistics? And he said, what? I said, statistics. He said, what do you mean? I said, have you ever had a class in statistics? He didn't know what I was talking about. I said, well, that explains it. You have no clue. You have no clue what's going on. So what they do, literally, is they get, and this is my belief, that they get government money to run these drug testing programs. And then what they do, in order not to show that they have a drug problem, they pick the best students, the ones who are not going to test positively for drugs. And they run them through this alleged random drug testing system. And they said, well, the system provides a number of a student, and that student is called into the little bathroom where they pee in a cup. Well, I suggest parents that you say, if your child is under 18, that you say, you know what, you're not going to do it. You are not going to test my child for drugs without my presence. And I want to see the exact chain of that testing. I want to see the cups coming from sealed containers in a box, and then I want to see the opening of that sealed container. I want to see the sealed container with the testing instruments. I want to see every step of the way, every single step of the way. And if we do that, we will shut this system down, because they won't be able to do it. They'll have to have all the parents line up. The parents will start complaining. The parents will complain to the superintendent and the principals that this is annoying. They have to leave work for this, and it's going to stop. And I want to know what's going on with that DNA. Where do these samples go? And let's go back to the people who are pulled over by the cops. So what happens, Erin? They get handcuffed, right? Handcuffs where? They're allegedly inebriated. Allegedly, their motor skills are impaired. So these cops use hinged handcuffs and put their hands behind their backs. So if they did fall down, there's no way they can stop the fall, right? Because they're handcuffed.
That's right. You can't.
Then what happens? They put them in a police car, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what's the police car like? I've seen one. Can you describe what you have seen in a police car where they put people in handcuffs?
It's basically just a rectangular piece of plastic formed as a seat in the back seat, and it's hard plastic, and it's slippery plastic, and that's it. There's nothing else.
It's a sliding board. It's a sliding board.
And you slide off the seat onto the floor into the cage that separates you from the front seat. It's not a pleasant place to be.
You're in a cage, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there's bars on the windows.
Yes.
No way to access a door lever to open the door or the window, right? Right.
Yeah.
And what happens if it's really hot out? You're going to cook, right?
You do cook. It gets really hot in there. There's no air circulation. They don't crack your window for you. Usually.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And these are people whom we have entrusted to protect us, and actually they're harming us.
Yeah, I don't see any protection in that myself, but anyway. They used to be. When we grew up, we knew the policemen.
Yeah.
They lived in the same communities we did. Their kids went to school with us. We're on the same sports teams. Anymore, at least in our little town, they may live here and their kids go to the school, but they strut around like they're the gods and that we should worship them. And I'm not going to worship anybody just because you wear a uniform. My husband was in the military. I just call them green people. And I'm not going to worship them. And I sure as heck don't care if it's a general. When I had an issue, I didn't care who it was. I had one general tell me to stand down, and I said, I don't take orders from you. I'm a civilian, and I will not stand down. So to me, the cops are just more thugs in uniforms. I appreciate the soldiers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is right and wrong is wrong, and it's attitude and it's morals. And anymore, these cops, a lot of them are the younger ones. They weren't raised like we were, Vincent. They were raised with video games, and both parents, if they had both parents, worked for the most part. Their set of ideals and morals and how you treat people is different. I remember the days where at the little town saloon, you have your regulars, right? Well, I remember the days that everybody in town knew who the regulars were, and either the cops walked them home, somebody in the bar gave them a ride home, or the cops gave them a ride home. Now it's they lie in wait, half a block down and watching everybody leave the bar so they can ticket them for DUI.
Okay, let's talk about that. Here's a police tactic that I've learned through my investigation of this criminal enterprise. What some cops do is they get reflective paint, and they will go to a bar and they will deface a vehicle's tires with this reflective paint or reflective chalk. They will mark the tires in two positions, like 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Don't put this reflective paint on there. They will deface someone's private property, an automobile. And then later on in the evening, they will watch the cars go down. They'll park in the median, and they'll watch the cars. And when they see these striped tires go by, they follow them and pull them over. It's like a shooting gallery. That's what has happened to our police. These guys aren't protecting; they are sniping for profit. Yes. Sniping for profit, and they are measured on performance. They have these performance reviews. Hey, listen, Joe, we gave you a new car. We gave you a new radar gun. That holster, that gun belt, the handcuffs. It's all the latest stuff. You got the best of everything, Joe. And your production is not quite as good. Your performance is not quite as good as everyone else. So what's going on? Do you need counseling? Do you need help? What if we put you on the midnight shift in the combat zone? Maybe that would help you, get the spirit back where you can protect the people by giving them tickets and fining them through the court system into oblivion so they can lose their job, lose their family, lose their status in the community. You really need to help these people because they need that. They need to be bludgeoned by the blue plague. So unless you want to drive that old jalopy that we've got out there, the one that has exhaust gases that go into the driver's compartment, unless you want to drive that one, if you want that new one that we got for you, you're going to have to work on your production. You're going to have to, help people. You're going to have to have more contacts with them, more pullovers, more invasion, more criminal activity on the Blue Plague's part. I believe that's what happens. And I dare a cop to call and tell me I'm wrong. 866-582-9933. So if you're a cop, give us a call. Tell us we're wrong.
There you go. It's all about generating revenue. That's just it. It's not about helping. In their counseling classes, don't even start me on that. That's a ripoff.
Well, I have a counseling class test. And they ask questions, Erin, like they have 4 categories: B, R, L, and O. And they ask you which words apply to you. For example, are you loyal, even-keeled? Are you a good listener? Are you adaptable? Are you patient? Are you tolerant? Let's keep the things the way they are. Are you non-demanding? Okay, that's one of the categories that they give you this test. And if you're one of them, man, I believe they will milk your wallet to the extreme. And then there's another category which I fit in, which is called L. Oh, by the way, R stands for retriever, like a golden retriever. Really nice animal. Another category is the lion, L. Takes charge, assertive, bold, enterprising, leader, goal-driven, firm. Let's do it now. Self-reliant, enjoys challenges, decision maker, competitive, purposeful, adventurous, determined. That's a lion. I took the test and I scored the highest in the lion category. They would throw me out of that class really quickly because I would be disruptive. They would want to get rid of me. They'd like a lot more retrievers.
I'm sure they'd want to get rid of you.
I gave Norm Shealy the same test on the air, and he scored, at the highest level of lion as well. And I'm willing to bet that just about all of our instructors here at USA Prepares are lions. We just don't like taking abuse from thugs. We're willing to do the right thing. We are not willing to do the wrong thing.
True.
So what about these attorneys?
But wait a minute. Wait. Go back just a second. Go back to the screening and all the questions they ask you.
Uh-huh.
Are you tolerant? That's a good
Not
one.
really.
No, that's a good one. We'll be back.
No, I think it's hard. It's hard to be tolerant of queers, especially if they want to circle my house.
Okay. All right. I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. Okay.
And maybe we lost a few affiliates. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Hi, Pat Matthews again. I want to talk to you about selling online. And when I say selling, I'm talking about your home, your car, and even buying a house or a new set of wheels. There's a new kid in town, and that's buysellmakeoffer.com. The revolution has already begun, and I invite you to be a part of it. You see, get in on the ground floor because buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees. Can you imagine what the other guys might charge you for selling a car on their site, let alone a house? Well, buysellmakeoffer.com doesn't do that. And you can use Skype and YouTube videos to sell your products, big or small. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and set up your account. For as little as $7.95 per month, you can sell up to 50 items, and they'll give you the first 30 days free just to try it out. Remember, no per item fees. Join the revolution today. buysellmakeoffer.com. and tell them Pat Matthews sent you.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help, so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class, Erin Dakins is with us. She's the host of The Truth Traveler, right here on Genesis Communications Network. And her broadcast is from 10 p.m. Central Time through midnight, Monday through Friday. And tonight, I'm going to be joining her for episode 1B of the Bunker Files. And you can listen the same way you're listening to this broadcast. If you're listening on the internet, gcnlive.com, gcnlive.com. And we'll be broadcasting together. Erin, have any idea what the subject matter is tonight?
Yeah, I do. I want you to talk about the new technology for charging batteries, and I'm going to talk about stuff spying on you. Because it's all related.
So it'll be spy technology. And absolutely outrageous, over-the-top invasion and threat to us is the technology I'm going to be talking about tonight. And I have a post that I put on the internet. It's called Hidden Dangers, Wireless Charging of Cell Phones and Other Electronic Devices. Now, class, this is so important, in my opinion, that you need to stop it at your school system. Go to those school board meetings and say, hey, just wondering, you guys plan on exposing our children to more dangers than you already are with the wireless access points you've got all over the school? Are you planning on charging devices wirelessly? Because if you are, I need to run against you for school board office and make sure that you are displaced. And also, if the superintendents and principals are in favor of this, we need to remove them too. And since we are the school board, any teachers who want to harm our children with this wireless technology, they need to go as well. So how are we going to do this? What's the plan? Did you say you are or are not going to do this? We need it in writing. What do you think?
I think it sounds pretty good. But you maybe you need to be a little bit more tolerant, though.
That's another thing. I'm going to ask Mrs. Finelli to type this list up. She can type so much faster than I can. And these 4 categories. And I think this should be handed out to any attorney that we might consider hiring. So if someone decides to engage the overpriced services of an attorney for a DUI hearing, you need to hand this 4-category test to your attorney. And anyone who is not a lion, you do not want to hire. So you do not want to hire someone who dislikes change. You do not want to hire someone who is adaptable. You do not want to hire someone who is fun-loving. You do not want to hire someone who avoids detail.
Oh, no.
You do not
Devil's
want
in
to.
the details, let me tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask her if she would consider typing this up, and we'll put it on the internet so that you can give this test to anyone that you think might be on your team, to make sure they are on your team. And if they're not a lion, I don't think they're on your side.
My luck, I'd end up with a mouse. But anyway.
Well, I talked to an attorney. And he said, he doesn't like conflict. Really?
Well, and then he went the wrong profession. Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He said, he likes to go along, and and that's the problem. That's the problem. Too many attorneys are not warriors. They need to be warriors.
Hey, they get paid well, whether they're warriors or not, so.
What a racket. Someone says, hey, listen, I got a DUI charge. Can you help me? Sure. I'm great at that. $3,000, we'll get you in court and we'll represent you. And then they say, listen, the best thing is to take plead guilty and let's ask the judge to be nice to you. And so they get $3,000.
The next day.
Well, I mean, that's $1,000.
So they've worked it out.
Yeah, that's $1,000 an hour that these attorneys make for doing nothing.
I wish I made that kind of money, Vincent. Hey, I'm going to go back to being tolerant. Okay, I will catch you tonight, Vincent. Thank you.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you're going to do it.
Probably not.
Hey, Erin, I'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock Central Time. I'll be connecting with your broadcast, The Truth Traveler. I'm looking forward to it. And Erin, thank you so much for being with us today. It's always great to be broadcasting with you. And class, for those of you who may wonder, Erin's been to the farm. She and her husband have been to the farm with a bunch of our other instructors, and she's a real hoot. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com. and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Imagine a pill that can improve your focus, your memory, your sleep, a catalyst to improve your brain chemistry. Dr. Bill's Cognition Plus is truly the smarter in an hour pill. A combination of amino acids, trace minerals, and B vitamins, Cognition Plus is made with specialized herbal extracts that will enhance and support brain function. Our customers say,
I feel more focused.
My memory's getting better.
I can work longer with more useful hours.
Power up your neurotransmitters that have been depleted, like dopamine and norepinephrine. Stimulate the release of others, like serotonin and oxytocin. Improve circulation and energy production. Protect your mind and your loved ones today. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Cognition Plus at 888-212-8871 or go online to NutriMedical.com. That's 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.